Ripples on Deep Water by Orphan Account on AO3. Episode 17, Chapter 17. Angel with a Shotgun. Izuku had a lot of faith in his friends. He knew that at least Mei would always be there to support him. He knew that Hitoshi understood what it was like to be shunned aside for something that they couldn't control. 1F knew he had overcome his barriers to make it this far. But he also knew, no matter how long or hard Hitoshi trained, he couldn't beat Katsuki. Katsuki was a savage, a brutal personality mixed with an incredible destructive quirk. Katsuki had both intelligence and strength in spades, plus an overproduction of confidence. It's why everyone idolized him for years. It's why Izuku idolized him. The young Izuku, Kachan, could do anything he set his mind to. Now Izuku understood his old bully even better. Bakugou Katsuki would destroy every obstacle in his path to win, and he didn't care what fell apart in the process. If he could harness that, he'd be a great hero. Izuku knew. But until then, Izuku had to treat Katsuki as he was, a danger to himself and his friends. Hitoshi didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell against Katsuki. Neither did Mei. To be honest, Izuku didn't either, but he had the best chance out of all of them. He knew Katsuki the best. He knew things they didn't. He knew Katsuki's fighting style, his weaknesses, his strengths. Katsuki barely knew Izuku anymore. Izuku couldn't stop Katsuki from hurting Hitoshi, unable to interfere with a public event, or talk Hitoshi out of it. He did, in fact, know when it was no longer his place to step in. But he could save Mei, and he swore to whatever god was watching him that he would. Mei was stressed. Shinsou knew the stakes. He knew what Bakugou would do to Izuku if he got the chances. Shinsou knew that Mei was going to try her damnedest to save Izuku from that. They both knew the odds of beating Bakugou and Izuku. Where Izuku lacked a quirk, he made up for it in pure tactical and analytical genius. He knew the ins and outs of Mei's support items, how to disable them, how to escape from them, and how to counter them. Mei knew Izuku, but he studied her. She stood across the arena from him, searching her best friend's face for a trace of doubt, a flinch. No matter what Izuku thought, Mei knew he couldn't fight Bakugou and walk away unscathed. Even if he won, Mei knew he would be scared the entire battle. If Izuku lost, he wouldn't be the same. Mei remembered what he was like when she first met him, shrinking away from her when she spoke too loudly or moved too suddenly, fear flashing in his eyes and jumping back with a strangled cry every time something exploded. The way he would try to hide in the shadows of his curly green hair whenever they walked down the street together. How he was always rushing to apologize, even when it obviously wasn't his fault. And Mei remembered what it was like the first time he laughed when his project went up in flames in front of him. Anxious, but delighted. The first time he called her Mei. The first time he complained about Mei's bad habit of leaving everything in total disarray. The first time he didn't back down when they disagreed. His eyes blazing with the need to be right. She didn't want Izuku to go back to how he was before. Scared of life and beaten down by the world. Izuku's eyes were terrifyingly blank as they stared each other down. And Mei knew, in that exact moment, he was gonna fight with everything he had. Pick a god and pray to it, he said in a voice that sent chills down her spines. Mei's hands tightened on her belt. I'm not losing. I know you won't, she murmured, barely audible to even herself. I'll pray to all of them, for you though. The charismatic genius Hatsume Mei of Support Course 1F versus the dark and undefeated prodigy Midoriya Izuku of Support Course 1F. Surprisingly, Aizawa-sensei throws in his own 2 cents. These two are both best friends and design partners. I've never seen one without the other. Most of their support items were collaborations, and if they weren't, it's almost certain the other knows exactly how it works. Mei is an on-the-spot inventor with the talent of assembling support items on the fly, and Midoriya's determination and tactical analysis are unmatched by the rest of the first years in UA so far. Kayama-sensei throws her whip thing up. Start! Mei knew, within seconds, it was a loss. She immediately started her jet and dodged a pink bomb, aired at her feet and charged forward, dodging a pair of blue bombs and drawing her lightning rod, swiping out, which was paired by Izuku's pair. He shoved hard with them, forcing her back, and she hovered just above the ground and glared before sending a blue bomb his way, which he dodged, right towards her. Mei jerked back again, but his lightning rods had already pinned one of her feet to the ground. She felt the hum die as the systems fried, and she swore, scrambling back even more. But Izuku was relentless. His dark face, the only thing Mei could see, as he slashed out again and again with his lightning rods until Mei drew her second and finally caught them between her own. There was a pause as they struggled against each other. There was no words, just silence as they fought for control. Sorry, Mei. What? Something hit her hard in the gut, and she wheezed and scrambled back a few steps, curling a bit. Hatsume is out of bounds. Midoriya advances to the finals. Mei's eyes widen as she scans the ground. Only half a meter from Izuku's feet was a white line, which she had gone straight over when he kicked her. Without another word, her best friend helped her stand and took her sleeve, like he would when they were walking through the halls of UA, leading Mei to the exit. Mei failed. And if Izuku suffered for it, she would never forgive herself. Alright, Shinsei-kun, this is the final prototype of Siren Call. With 5 days into the sports festival, Midoriya pulled him into a room that Yamada-sensei had hesitantly given them permission to use. One he used to train his quirk. Midoriya had looked almost like he was proud of himself, but Hitoshi didn't know him well enough yet. Hatsume definitely did, but she wasn't here. What's it do? Midoriya slid on a pair of sound-canceling headphones. His normal soft voice was a bit louder as he said, "Turn the knob and don't stop when it makes the annoying sound." He did as Midoriya asked, as the small teen shoved earplugs into his ears. "The siren call is a voice changer, translator, and amplifier," Midoriya told him. "Those earbud thingies are to keep you from going deaf. It cancels out anything that reaches a harmful decibel. Now, screech as loud as you can." Dubiously, Hitoshi turned around and did as he asked. And, holy hell, he might not have been able to actually hear it, but it shattered the bulletproof glass in the center of the room into practically dust. "That's your new best friend, Shinsei-kun," Izuku told him seriously. If Hitoshi knew anything about Bakugou from his previous fights, was that he was going to end this fast. Hitoshi also knew he was pretty fragile next to the explosive bastard. He would need to focus everything into a single attack if he wanted even the chance of winning. The mysterious Shinsou Hitoshi of General Education 1C versus the explosive Bakugou Katsuki of Heroics 1A. Have anything to say, Aizawa? A pause. A lot less heroic students are going to be on the winning stage than ever in UA's history, no matter what the outcome of this fight is. But... pop. And Hitoshi screamed back with every ounce of force he could put behind it. The volume ramped up to full in the face of the fire blooming in front of him. Alright, okay. Ugh, I was supposed to record this yesterday, but I didn't because I got home and then I fell right to sleep. Like, I went right off to bed, which, I mean, in my defense, it was a long shift. It was the weekend before Christmas, and holy hell, do I hate the weekend before Christmas. But I'm all chill. Today I work, tomorrow I don't. Okay. The next chapter is chapter 18, Believer. Summary is Izuku versus Bakugou. For all his sins, he shall pay. No one is ever lucky, and nobody's okay. Interesting. That was like a little rhyme. Okay. I don't have much to say. I mean, I do like that Hitoshi's like, support item doesn't only just change his voice. It also does other things like what I'm gonna dub the present mic imitator, attack. That's super cool that it could do that, I'm glad that he has other fighting styles, other fighting choices, other than just, the capture scarf, that he's probably gonna get in, future chapters and stuff. So, like, I'm glad we're seeing more of, like, of that, you get what I mean? I can't wait till we get to the Shindeku part. I know this is technically a genfic because it focuses on, on other stuff, but I want Shindeku. I want it now. Either way, I don't know how this fight is gonna go between Izuku and Bakugou. I do think Izuku's very capable of himself, but Bakugou's out for blood. I don't know. Maybe Izuku will win. Maybe we'll have Izuku win. I really want him to win, and I could see him winning with his support items, right? It is very plausible, right? With the pink bomb, with the blue bomb, with his lightning rods, right? All that stuff. Like, he could very much win. But I don't know. Fingers crossed. I also definitely think, like, against Bakugou, I've already set Hitoshi to fail. Oh my god. The next one is Hitoshi and Bakugou. I don't know if... I'm trying to think. Will Bakugou win? Lose? We know, in this one, the summary is Izuku versus Bakugou, meaning, most likely, Hitoshi failed. Yeah, okay. I was like, what? Did we just get spoiled? Oh my god. Whatever, point taken is, Hitoshi would have gotten in third place, though. He would have gotten on the podium, so that's chill. Out of Izuku and Bakugou, I really hope Izuku wins so that Izuku can get first place and Bakugou gets stuck in second place. I don't like Bakugou in this. Look, normally I do like Bakugou. He's a very interesting character, a very well-developed, and very, like, out of all the characters in My Hero Academia, I think I've spoken about this before as well, out of all the characters in My Hero Academia, the one that is the most developed, I'm not talking about Vigilantes, because I know that one is made by another person other than Horikoshi, so that one could be, they could have actually developed characters, I'm not sure, but out of all the characters that are in My Hero Academia main, Bakugou is the most developed character. This is a character that actually has a real rounded out developed arc. And I know what you're saying, Izuku's a very developed character, but no, he's a very, very, very dimensional character. He has some depth, but like it's not the same. You get what I mean? It's not the same. It's not the most developed. He is the second most developed, right? Then we have Shoto, and then we have other characters where it's like, yes, they have potential development or very potential, really complex character designs in the sense of like personalities and hardships and stuff like that. But where they lack is the fact that they're not actually developed. Think Toga, think Ochako, think Shinso is a great example. That is such a great character that you could develop, someone who was told all his life that he is to be a villain and he's trying to be a hero. You know, developing that would have been so cool. Same with Ochako. Ochako gets a little more development towards the later seasons, but if we're really being serious about it, it's not like huge development. Ida as well. He doesn't really get that much development. Like, most of the things that we see with characters and having, like, three-dimensional complex personalities and complex, you know, ideologies and hardships and stories and stuff like that is literally fans developing that through fan fictions, through podfics, through all these different mediums, right? Through fan art, through fan comics, right? Through just discussion, right? It's quite literally, we have developed it. Bakugo's the only one that's fully developed, but in this fic, I do not like Bakugo. Hopefully he gets a redemption arc. If he doesn't, that's fine. Bakugo being a villain is alright. Like, not a villain, like, as in, like, an actual villain, but, like, you know, a villain to the plot. It's fine. I've done it before where Bakugo is my scapegoat and he's the villain. Literally, headlock. Bakugo's not a good person in there. And he is not. He's not. I like to think that that's because, like, he didn't get any, like, development. Like, that is what he would have become had he not gotten any development. With the extra additive of being an abuser, right? Because I don't think he would have gone as far as to become an abuser, right? Or maybe he would. Who knows? I don't think so. That's a little OC of him, right? But it's plausible. It's plausible. It's a little OOC of him. Anyways, that is my 2 cents. I hope Izuku wins. It could literally go either or. Hitoshi is very much gonna lose. I wonder if we're actually gonna see his fight, or if it's just gonna cut to, like, yeah, he lost. I wonder if it's gonna be, like, one of those, you know, Hitoshi did that scream, and then Bakugo, dodged it, and still ended up winning, kind of situation. I hope at least he gets a winning shot. I don't know. He got enough wins, he got enough, you know, traction. He should be good for you know, to end up into the heroics. I hope Izuku ends up in heroics. I know here he's, like, really happy being a support course student, and, like, I'd love my support course Izuku, but, like, I want him to also be in heroics. Like, he could dabble in both. I want him to be in both, right? I want him to be that guy and be in both. Be that bitch. Be in both. Okay, that's all I have to say. So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.